I'm about to test these 100 grain relic AMax bullets. When the 6.5 Creedmoor and Hornady first came out, they used to publish all of the load data, including the primers, on the side of their box. This helped guys in the early days develop a charge weight, but more importantly, it was for a competitive reason, to see how they would do on the same velocities or same charge weight. I think they're using H4350 back in the day, but what was really interesting is they were using mag primers on the 6.5 Creedmoor, and theory holds that you really don't need a mag primer unless you are loading over 60 grains of powder. Most of these won't even hold anywhere near that. I think this is roughly at 41, and the hottest loads I've seen is somewhere around 43 grains of powder, depending on what you're using. So what I'm gonna do today is I have black tipped the mag primers here, and I'm going to be using the exact same charge weight. I think these are 41.5, and as you can see, 41.5. And I think this is IMR 4064, and this is Varget here. So I'm going to test this and see if there's any difference between a mag primer and a standard primer, and see what kind of velocities. I got my chronographer set up, and hopefully I can get these AMaxes dialed in before I go hog hunting in a month. That's a good group. I've got two pet loads developed for the Hornady 100 grain AMax, and the one I'm going for the most is the 43.4 grains of Varget that had an awesome single-digit 9 FPS velocity spread with a standard of being 3051 and the group measuring at 0.727. Its close cousin is 41.9 grains of IMR 4064 that had a much higher velocity spread at 80 FPS, but its standard velocity 3079 is very similar to Varget at 3051, and its group at 0.773 is also very similar to Varget at 0.727. And I bet if I overlaid these two targets, they would be almost exactly the same. And what's more important is that once I dial this in with my thermal, I could use either one of these loads in the distance that I hunt. It's not going to make a difference. What is inconclusive for me today is the debate about standard primer versus mag primer. Ignore the dark color on the mag primers. I actually took a marker and colored those myself so I can deviate and know which one is what. A lot of people say that there's a spike in velocities, and I didn't really see a difference, in all honesty, between my mag primers. If you look, the velocity spread with a standard was 110 versus 103. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. 80 here versus 70 there. Again, that one's lower. And the same thing happened with Varget, where the standard primer was a 95 velocity spread, this one being low at 42. The standard here being the lowest at 9, but then it jumps back up to 85. So again, the language typically in a lot of reloading manuals tell you you don't need to use a mag primer unless you are shooting 60 grains of powder or more. But I would basically say whatever is working for you, just use that. I know a lot of guys up north like to use mag primers because it gets below freezing down there, and they want to make sure that that primer is going to ignite. And a lot of guys in the south don't like using mag primers because it gets so hot that you can get spikes and signatures. And the only one that had a little bit of a sign is the hottest load here. You can see a little bit of a case indication mark right there. You can kind of see it, but both primers are equally flat at the powder charge that I'm running. So whatever's working with you, just go for it. I can't decide that a mag primer is worth using, so I'm gonna stick with my standards, and I gotta get these loaded up and kill me some ow, ow, ow.